Reducing pollution, protecting nature, and investing in our ability to use and enjoy these places is one of the best things we can do, because it puts people out there becoming aware of it, and people want to live and work and go to school and do business in places that are clean and healthy and vibrant, and Rhode Island's environment is one of its greatest assets, and one that can only increase in value if we just take care of it. My name is John Torgan. I am the Director of Ocean and Coastal Conservation for the Nature Conservancy in Rhode Island. When I was 8 years old, my parents bought a summer cottage in Narragansett here on Point Judith Pond, and I spent some of the best years of my childhood and of my life right here with this water as my backyard. Narragansett Bay and Rhode Island's coastal waters has changed. We've shifted away from the sort of classic cold water cast of characters that New England's been known for, and we're starting to resemble a warmer place already. Think about the changes that we've seen just along Rhode Island's coast in places that so many people are familiar with, Misquamicut and Westerly and Matunic. We see these gradual ecological changes in the bay, a few degrees of temperature, and it may not seem like much, but it's really connected. Winter flounder, flatfish, sole used to be the most commercially and recreational important species. And scientists have found that winter flounder really like cold winters, that if the winter's cold, they do well. And they think that perhaps this is because when it's warm, it allows predators, these shrimp that like warm water, to eat the baby flounder, to eat the eggs and larvae from the flounder. So if it's cold, the shrimp don't come and the flounder do well. So maybe, we don't know, but maybe the reason that the flounder are disappearing is that it's warm. Just a few degrees makes that difference. The timing of birds migration, the timing of fish migration, these are just ancient cycles that have been programmed, I think, in so many ways in the minds of animals and in the genetics of plants across the system. And so when spring comes a little earlier, it just can throw everything off. Plankton is the currency of life, and so all the birds and animals in Narragansett Bay and in Rhode Island waters depend on this winter-spring bloom, which is a bloom of new plankton that happens every spring around the same time. Because of changes driven by climate, ocean currents, and other things happening in the atmosphere, the bloom hasn't been setting up the way it used to. And it just means a different bay. It means a different cast of characters. You're not going to get the kinds of fish and birds and animals that you expect. It's a concern because if the conditions aren't there to support the native species and the native diversity of animals and plants that we've all come to know and appreciate, then where are those native plants and animals going to be able to go? Practical advice we give people is invest in conservation, invest in water quality. Set aside areas of land on the coast. They act as filters, as natural buffers to storm waves, and as habitats that support a diversity of fish and birds and marine life that depend on these places. And if you've got that, if you've got an intact, healthy coastal ecosystem, then whatever the stress, if it's a hot summer, if it's disease, if it's an oil spill, if it's a hurricane, we're going to be in good shape to recover as a natural system and also as communities. Where people have been affected by these hurricanes like Sandy and Irene, and they need to rebuild, we're saying, let's not do it the same old way. Let's rebuild, but let's rebuild smarter. Let's think about innovative solutions. Let's look at natural use of marshes and living media and sediment where possible. And again, it's not going to be possible in every case, but where we can, let's think innovatively how we plan for and how we develop our coastal communities and infrastructure. The more we understand and the more we engage in the process of taking care of it, if there's an opportunity to vote for a bond issue to support clean water and land and infrastructure, those are the kinds of investments the public should vote for. Support elected officials that have strong environmental records and have an eye towards that connection between the quality of the environment and our economy. And if we show collectively in Rhode Island that we understand this, that we're tuned into it, and we're willing to take strong actions, both at the coast and on land, through conservation, through better management, and through education and understanding, we can really be leaders in this issue and show the rest of the region and really the world how a coastal community or a coastal state can do a great job rolling with the changes that we know are coming and doing it, not out of fear or defensiveness, but thinking forward to the kind of place that we want to have and getting the most value out of this place that's already priceless. We think of Rhode Island and the coastal waters of Rhode Island as a unique place, but it is a part of a much larger natural system that extends out to the ocean and reaches up into the rivers that feed Narragansett Bay and Rhode Island's coastal waters.